The upcoming video is a special clip from our Soaring Scars Academy professional development. Let's get to it.
Why it's so important to have all voices off before you go to your next thing. And that's why I feel like having these visual representations, it's so much easier to achieve that. If you find yourself being the teacher that's constantly, hey, I need your, and being interrupted. Instead of doing that, I have my 3 tallies on the board. If students are talking when I'm talking, I might wait for a second, see if they fix it on their own. But if I don't see that they're fixing it, it's a slow walk back. It's a hand raise. It's 3 seconds of waiting. 3, 2, 1. And if it still hasn't worked, then I get rid of a tally or I get rid of a C. That makes the accountability on them and not on you. It is not your job to yell over them. In fact, it should be your job to do the exact opposite, to get quieter, to get a lot quieter. Have their attention be on you before you try to start. Because the second you become the teacher that yells over students while they talk over you, you can't get out of that role. From kindergarten to 4th grade, for my students, this is what's always on the board, the word music. The word music is constantly on my board. All I've done, I'm not a fancy teacher. I don't have a lot of things that are extremely cutesy, but what I did do is I took the word music and I laminated it so that each letter is separate, M-U-S-I-C, and I put magnet stickers on the back. That's always up on my board the second the students come in. What I say is when music's on our board, we are able to make it because our voices are off, our bodies are calm, and our eyes are on me. If we are doing those things, then we are able to make music. Now, at the beginning of the year, I talked to my students about what happens when we don't have that. That's when we lose our C. Music is no longer on our board. We cannot make music unless it is on our board. Meaning that if they lose the C, they can always earn it back by having their voices off, their eyes on me, their bodies calm. The thing that they can earn next, if they're doing a great job, again, I always start with music on the board. But if they're coming in, they're meeting the expectations, this is what I give them, the A. And the A I give away like musical candy. The second that I see my students are doing a nice job, the second I see my students have their voices off, their eyes on me, their bodies calm, differentiating expectations depending on the class. But if it's that class that really needs that positive enforcement, A. You earned your A. You earned your A because you all raised your hand when I asked that question. Wonderful job. Now, the A is something that my students get a lot. A lot of my classes leave with that A on the board. The next time they come in, the A will be gone, music will be on the board, they're trying to earn that A again. But there's another step as well, the double L's. My students are able to earn the double L's if they're not only having their voices off, their bodies calm, their eyes on me, but if they're showing me that extra step. Maybe they're working together as a group. Maybe they all did a fantastic job on the review. Whatever it is, the double L's are much harder to earn. I give away the A, and I try in almost every class, if they're meeting expectations, to make sure they see, wow, that was fantastic. The double L's, a lot harder. Sometimes they only get it between maybe once or twice a year. And that's not just for the great group, that, they got the double L's, but it's also for some of my more challenging classes where their expectations might look a little different in my mind, but they'll still get the double L's. The one that's the most elusive is that Y. I have only had one class in my now 5 years at this school who have ever earned the Y. And because all of my students know how difficult it is to get that Y, when that one 4th grade class did earn it, I was able to go out at recess time and see that 4th grade class telling the entire building, the entire group of kids at recess, we got the Y, we got the Y, It was a big deal. And not only for them, but for all the other kids that were running up to me going, Miss, did the 4th grade really get the Y? It is that almost elusive one, but the one that all students are gonna strive to get. Make sure you're allowing those building blocks. Again, your expectations, your visual representation doesn't have to look like mine, but make sure there are steps and goals and peaks that they can reach for. Now, this isn't just for a visual representation, it's also for their earn from me. So each of my classes have a piano, and it's just a little sheet about this big with from C to about 2 octaves, and each class will have their own sticker, okay? And that sticker will move based on how many points they get. If they keep music, just music, up on the board, that's 3 points. So we move up 3 spaces on the piano. If they get the A, that's 4, L's 5, Y, which again, only one class has ever gotten, they get 6. By the time they get to the end of their piano chart, they get some sort of earn from me. And I'll be telling you a couple of my earns in just a second, right? Once they get to that first time being at the end and they get their earn, well, then I make it a little bit harder. That'll be usually before the winter break. Usually, most of my students' classes will have gotten to the end of their piano. When they get back from winter break, it gets a little harder. Now they're going up by half steps. So if they get music, that's 1, 2, 3 points. We're going up by half. And it's also a great way to get to start talking about half steps. If you're at that point in your curriculum where you can do that, it's a fantastic place to also do that. Ready? So that is what I use for my elementary school students. Here's what I do for my middle school students. It's basically the same. It's just not as cutesy. That is one thing that I have realized is sickening to a lot of my middle schoolers, is if it's cutesy, they want absolutely nothing to do with it, which is fine. I'm meeting them where they're at. The second my students come in, or in this case, when I'm going around on the card, the second I come in, I take a marker, I go up to the whiteboard. I'm writing your tallies. You keep these tallies by having your voices off, your eyes on me, your body calm. If they keep those up, then by the end of class, if those 3 tallies are still up, they get 1 tally from me, which I just keep on a separate sheet. Or if the teacher, I know that they won't accidentally erase it, I'll put it up on their whiteboard. So they'll get 1 tally from me. If they do something to impress me, again, like working hard together. For one group of students who were really trying hard with the ukulele, if they finished a song and performed it for me, they got an additional tally. That additional tally then meant that I left with 2 tallies from them. By the time they get to 10, that's when they get their earn. And again, usually that will take until winter break. But there will also be smaller earns as they go. What are your earns? What's something that you know your students are going to want? Only you know your students. But what is that one thing? Write it in the comments. Write it on your piece of paper. What is the thing that you know your students want in your music class?
Looking for how to get the rest of this professional development for free? Simply sign up for a free month at the Soaring Scribes Academy, where we will also be giving you a free digital download of our Soaring Scribes Academy workbook, or pay a one-time fee. Both links are in the section below. Thank you for watching this Soaring Scribes Academy professional development, and happy playing!